According to LA County homicide detectives, the shooting happened in broad daylight right in this McDonald's right behind me on 47th Street East and Avenue S. Los Angeles County officials are evaluating the damage caused by this rainstorm. Right now I'm standing right in front of what's called an Arizona crossing. We've been following a hot pursuit that lasted over an hour that began in Northridge and ended right here at this intersection in Palmdale. Deputies have made 2 arrests. The Palmdale man who kidnapped and beat the mother of his child received his punishment in court. The suspects, they say, burglarized this home, and neighbors living here have been telling me they've been terrorizing this place for months. Several local businesses are coming together to give patients battling cancer something to smile about.
Lisa, what's blooming?
Well, a lot is blooming over here, Renee. Actually, all 1,700 acres here in Lancaster are blooming. Well, it's been more than 40 days and 40 nights since a group of protesters right there have camped out in front of Christopher Hubbard's home, trying to get him to move out of their community. And while their mission is very clear, not everyone agrees with their message. Some are saying their tactics are rude, crude, and inappropriate.
It's just verbal abuse.
John Perry, the owner of Sunset Protective Services, responsible for monitoring Christopher Hubbard, says, "Integration! No integration!" The protesters who gather in front of Hubbard's Lake LA home for hours are going about spreading their message the wrong way. Not ever!
It's nauseating after a while.
Perry's staff recorded some of the chanting they say really happens near the 200,000 block of East Avenue R when deputies and TV cameras are not around.
I'm gonna make your life a miserable hell.
If I ever see you walking down the street, I will probably try to run you down if I had the chance.
Some of it's homophobic, racially insensitive.
Perry says the chants include threats, swearing, homophobic slurs, and violent sexual depictions, most of which are too graphic for us to air on television.
Go have a stroke.
This particular recording describes Hubbard getting raped by another man.
And how many times did you yell and scream? And he put his hand over your mouth.
It's certainly not conducive environment for children. Some people bring their children, and that's unsettling because a lot of the rhetoric is despicable and highly offensive.
But protesters say that Hubbard living near their homes is what's really unsettling.
Vulgar was him tying the women up. Vulgar was him doing it in front of their kids. Vulgar as us taxpayers paying for him to live here.
Are we supposed to say, may I please, thank you to him? I will say whatever I can to him to get him out of here.
Perry, whose security company monitored 20 sexually violent predators in the state in the last 7 years, says the pushback is part of the job. How's Mr. Hubbard handling all this?
He's bearing up very well. He's a virtual prisoner in here, and he's determined. He looks at it like his last chance to live a life on the outside. He doesn't want to die in the hospital.
And protesters outside the home say they are determined for him to fail.
Don't know what's going to work to push those buttons. So we're using whatever tactics we can to push those buttons to get him out.
He's confident that he will never reoffend. That's certainly not his intent. And he just wants to live out the rest of his life. He's 63 years old now, and the fire's been taken out of him.
Perry says that while their goal is to integrate Hubbard back into society, he says the process has been very slow. He says as of now they have not taken Hubbard out in public with the security team for fear of his safety and the safety of the community. Of course, we're going to follow this developing story for you and bring you the latest as we get it. Reporting out here in Lake Los Angeles, I'm Lisa Lewewski for Time Warner Cable News.
Oh, she likes you.
Third-degree burns covering the spine of this 5-year-old pit bull are not going to keep her down.
She's very resilient.
The lovable pup is nothing but tail wags and hugs after showing up at the Lancaster facility last week.
They're just so sweet, and they have endured this
kind of thing, you know, and they just still have such a good attitude. And
Cookie, as the staff calls her, was found in Palmdale August 12th. The day before, a burned golden retriever stray was found wandering in downtown Lancaster.
We have a total of 4 dogs that came in a period of 6 weeks, maybe. But we don't consider that all of them are related in regards to what happened to them. 2 of the dogs that came in were really bad injuries, and because of the extent of the injury, we had to euthanize them.
All 4 dogs have acid-like burns up and down their spines, but how they got their burns is still unclear.
This can happen out of an accident. If an animal crawls underneath a car and their battery is spilling, for example, acid, that can happen.
But other animal lovers at the Lancaster facility on Avenue I say these injuries look man-made.
Somebody do something like that to them, it's just sad. I hope they catch the guy or the people who done it. And, you know, I hope justice is brought to the dog.
And he's not alone. LA County Supervisor Michael Antonovich is offering a $10,000 reward that leads to an arrest of the person or people responsible for this act of animal cruelty. Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department is working closely with Animal Control on this investigation. They want to hear from you. If you have any information on these attacks, please give them a call. The number here at Animal Control is 940-4191. Reporting in Lancaster, I'm Lisa Lewewski for Time Warner Cable News. We've been following a hot pursuit that lasted over an hour that began in Northridge and ended right here at this intersection in Palmdale off of Rancho Vista Boulevard and 25th Street West. Deputies have made 2 arrests, a woman and a man, and they are still learning more about what happened.
He's really pushing his pickup truck to its limits.
It started as a live televised helicopter chase throughout Los Angeles you couldn't take your eyes off of.
Towards now the Acton area.
For over an hour, speed stopping 120 miles an hour during rush hour traffic. And ends in a head-on collision. CHP and LA County deputies with their guns drawn in the middle of a busy Palmdale intersection, taking a man into custody.
He got off at Rancho Vista, and I'm like, oh my God, that's where we live.
That was surprising.
Yeah, it really shocked us.
The chase took a wild turn when the driver of the green Ford F-150, followed by choppers throughout LA, got off the 14 freeway onto Avenue N around 5:30 Monday evening.
Coming home on the 14, he just actually flew right by us. He was on the side, and he just went flying by. Next thing you know, 5 minutes later, we see the cops coming.
Well, at this point, we'll see what he does. He just looks like he's giving up.
The driver pulls off the freeway onto Avenue N, driving into a gated community on 50th Street West. A woman is seen jumping out of the car and running.
In this vehicle, there was also a female that ran from the scene after the vehicle crash. That female ran into the vicinity just northeast of us, but since then has been also apprehended. We don't know the motive as to why she ran.
Back at Rancho Vista Boulevard, the driver that ends up in a head-on collision doesn't come out of the car. Deputies waited, but it took a long time.
We just waited until the dog came out. Once the dog arrived, we gave him instructions to exit the vehicle. He was hesitant at first, but then he complied with the instructions and exited the vehicle.
At this point, we still do not know why the driver of this vehicle was running from the police in the first place, but we do know he was wanted for a felony hit and run that began down near the Northridge area. We also know that whoever it was arrested, they are facing a slew of charges, including possible assault on a peace officer. Reporting in Palmdale, I'm Lisa Lewewski for Time Warner Cable News.